Don't try to do it all. Do what works with mastery and focus. We often get asked, where should we be? What's the latest marketing craze? And honestly, it doesn't matter. I mean, obviously be aware and do your research and learn, but you don't have to do it all.
You're listening to episode 170 of the Fitness Business Podcast. We'd like to thank this month's premier podcast partner, Precor, delivering industry-leading cardio, strength, functional training products and service to over 90 countries across the world. Welcome and thank you for joining me. This week's special guest is Kari Bedgood. Kari oversees the marketing and public relations functions for Active Wellness, and today she's going to take us through 10 steps to creating a membership sales promotion. I've got to tell you, this list that Kari has compiled is the most comprehensive and succinct outline of a membership sales promotion that I've come across, and it is perfect for owners, managers, and marketers. Here's my advice. Even if you think that you have your membership promotions running like clockwork, take a listen anyway, because Kari's guide might just be a good reminder to make sure that you're not missing any steps along the way. Now, before we move into this week's interview, I first want to thank this month's premier podcast partner. Precor provides a total solutions approach to fitness with new equipment, smart product innovations, and new finishes and upholstery options to the best-in-class group training and networked fitness solutions. They have a solution for everyone. To learn more, just head to precor.com/fitness business podcast. Kari, welcome along. I'm so excited to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much. I am just as excited to be here.
Now, just to give everyone a little bit of background, we of course have had the co-founder, president and CEO of Active Wellness, Bill McBride, on the show, not once, but twice before. And for anyone that missed those episodes or anyone that doesn't have a bit of a knowledge about Active Wellness, can you start off by giving us a brief overview about the business?
Sure, absolutely. Active Wellness is a fitness and wellness management company. We own and operate and also consult with over 50 plus fitness centers across the country. And we do so for partners that often don't have the expertise in-house or don't really even want to even operate the fitness center themselves. And those businesses are usually corporate fitness centers. Those are corporations that have fitness centers on their campus, or in the sense that we partner with their human resources and benefits departments to offer a workplace wellness program. We often work with community centers, medical fitness centers in partnership with hospitals, property management companies that have fitness centers on their residential or corporate properties, as well as just the regular gym owner across the country.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for that overview. And today, of course, you're going to be taking us through the steps to create a membership sales promotion. But before we talk about that, I would love you to tell us, why is it that you or Active Wellness Group have moved away from discounting when it comes to their membership sales promotions?
Sure. Yeah. We believe in our value and are very much focused on delivering exceptional member experience. So from a promotional offer standpoint, we like to offer guest passes or paid trials versus deep discounts on enrollment fees or monthly membership dues. And this allows prospects to walk through our doors and experience all that our clubs have to offer for themselves before making that purchasing decision.
Fantastic. I am super excited to dive into this today because I feel like it's an area that we're going to be able to help a lot of gym owners and managers out there. And I believe that you have 10 steps to creating a membership sales promotion. Can you talk us through those 10 steps?
Absolutely. So let's start with step one, which is to understand your market, to identify your target audience. For us, it's really important to gain an understanding of our market potential that will eventually shape a marketing campaign. So we like to run what we call a likely joiner report, and this takes a deep dive into a club's community to determine our market penetration based on target demographics within specific drive times to a club. So if you have a very urban club, like in San Francisco or New York City, it would be a walk time. But this report also takes into consideration surrounding competition and their membership capacities. But what you're left with is the number of people who fit into these specific segments. And this helps us create personas of our key audience segments, which in turn is your target audience for your campaign.
Oh, I love that. I'm going to jump in there because we on the show before have talked about creating an avatar. So creating a persona, it's the same thing, right?
Sure. Yes, absolutely. So we will actually name put a name to these target audiences and each segment. So we will actually put a face, a name, interests, age group, what they like to do, if they have families in their household. So we just build out each of these personas, which identifies our key target audience segments.
That is fantastic. So step number one is really identifying that target market.
Exactly.
Excellent.
And step number two would then be to determine marketing channels based on how best to reach those specific target markets. So if one of the personas, for instance, was, let's just say, a mother in her 30s, she might have two little kids at home. She, loves to shop at Nordstrom and Whole Foods and is very active on social media. So, we might run targeted Facebook ads with those type of demographics to find prospects very much like her. Other groups might, you may reach them by email or direct mail, whatever that might be. You really have to determine which channels are best to reach those groups. Step three, create a compelling call to action. Now, your call to action might be offer-based, it could be value-based, and it most definitely could be experience-based, which is what I highly recommend. And by that, I mean a guest pass or a paid trial. So allowing a prospect to come in to your site or to your fitness center and experience for themselves what they might, find what they really enjoy.
When you say a guest pass, Carrie, is there a particular length of time that you would put on that? Is that a one visit pass, or do you normally extend it out to a 3 or a 5 day pass?
We really like a 3-day guest pass, and anything above that would be a paid trial. So if we were to give a week-long pass, we might charge a nominal fee. And that will help you really identify who your, prospects are that are more likely to join. So more of a qualified prospect than just generating leads.
Perfect. Okay. And step number 4?
Step 4 is to design creative that best resonates with your target market in both relatable copy that speaks to them as well as through imagery or visuals.
Right. So once again, it's coming back to just truly understanding what's going to appeal to that avatar or that persona that you identified in step number 1.
Exactly. Step 5 is to set your KPIs to track success. And oftentimes, aside from doing market demographics and really understanding your key audience, this could be one of the second most important things to do. Because if you're not tracking your success, you just won't know what works. So this gives you the actual data to back up all of your efforts.
Carrie, do you use a system to do that? Do you use like a spreadsheet to do that? How do you recommend people can best track the results of their campaigns?
Yes. So, there's a lot of analytics through various marketing channels that you get when you initiate campaigns. So we like to compile each KPI or outcome on our spreadsheets. And then for most of our client sites, we prepare monthly reports that outline the success of every campaign.
Fantastic. I think that, you mentioned that that's one of the most important points, and I tend to agree because I think that quite often we put a lot of focus and emphasis onto what we're going to do and actually getting it done, but perhaps we can fall down a little bit when it comes to actually tracking the effectiveness of that activity or that investment that we've made.
Exactly. Step 6 would be to test. So, you yourself go through that prospecting journey as if you're a prospective member, both on a computer and most definitely a mobile device. And for us, I like to get more eyes on it and often ask, colleagues that are in other departments who may not be as close to the campaign. So I'm not overlooking something just because I am anticipating the next step.
That's a really interesting one, Carrie. I was actually having a conversation or doing an interview a couple of days ago with a customer experience expert here in Australia. And one of the things that she recommended was actually trialing a lot of your systems and your promotions on like a customer group that you assemble. So a bit of a test group, I guess it would be. Have you done that before? Would you agree with that suggestion?
I can definitely attest to that because I often ask my boyfriend and friends to test some of these campaigns out. But yeah, we're going to get to testing in one of my next steps, but absolutely, we often run A/B tests with campaigns. So even though they're live and not for focus groups, it still gives us the ability to iterate and figure out what works. And then, you kill the one that doesn't and you go with the one that does. And you can keep doing that throughout your campaign.
Just for anyone that isn't familiar with the term A/B split or testing A/B groups, do you want to just very quickly explain that to us?
Yeah, it's really just publishing or distributing 2 different campaigns. And oftentimes for us, it might be 2 different offers that we'll put out there to the same group, but we'll segment the list in half and look at which of the offers, has more success. If it's the A group, then we know that offer was, more successful, and we will, walk away from the offer that we tested with the B group and try something else. We also do that with imagery, visuals, sometimes copy, or the call to action.
What I love about A/B testing in 2018 is that because so much of what we do is online, it's relatively quick and easy to test 2 different pieces of creative, as opposed to back in the old days where we used to print things and, you'd put out 2 different flyers with different messages or different creatives. It's a lot bigger process. But these days you can actually do a relatively quick and simple A/B test to find out what's working, which I love.
Exactly.
On to our next step.
Step 7 is to create excitement internally with kickoff calls and sneak peeks on creatives and offers. We as a marketing team work very closely with our membership teams, and we like to hold these fun kickoff calls so that they are prepared and excited and ready to support our marketing launch. And we often like to include our service desk teams as well. Number 8, analyze your results. And we do this on a daily basis. So track your KPIs and look for areas for improvement daily. Which really brings me to step 9. And I know that we touched on this already, but it is to iterate. And Chantal, you brought up a great point. Digital these days in marketing allows for quick and inexpensive adjustments to be made if you were to A/B test. So that's just, you have the ability to iterate, and we definitely encourage that throughout a campaign.
Great. And that brings us to number 10.
Step 10, repeat. It sounds so simple to just do what works, but oftentimes we have conversations with clubs across the country, and they're always trying to recreate the wheel. So if you find a campaign or a strategy that works, we definitely encourage you to keep repeating it.
They are all fantastic steps, and thank you so much for walking us through that today, Carrie. I do have another question for you, and I quite like this one because we don't normally go down this path, but I would love to know, or finish off on today, 3 things that we should avoid when creating a successful membership sales promotion.
Ooh, this is a good one. Okay, so I would say the first thing to avoid would be to don't run sales promotions every month. Gone are the days of thinking of a new promotion each month or trying to recreate the wheel. Just focus on experience, great content, and really being a positive support in your members' lives. I just truly believe that happy members will do the rest with the right tools. Number 2, I would say don't do what you always used to do. If you don't have a clear reason why, then stop or look for ways to improve.
And it's so important, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's my Bill McBride constantly. Yeah. And number 3, don't try to do it all. Do what works with mastery and focus. We often get asked, where should we be? What's the latest marketing craze? And honestly, it doesn't matter. I mean, obviously be aware and do your research and learn, but you don't have to do it all.
Carrie, look, I want to thank you so much. I just loved those 10 steps that you talked us through, and I think that it will give our listeners a lot of structure and maybe give them the opportunity to check back on their current processes for their marketing or their membership sales promotion, to cross-check what they're doing and make sure that they are ticking all those boxes, because it's such a comprehensive list that you talked us through. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. It was such a pleasure.
MyZone is a wearable technology platform that leverages personal goal setting, gamification, and social platforms to motivate your members. To find out more, go to myzone.org.
Get ready for this week's bonus segment, your extra injection of information, education, and inspiration to strengthen your fitness business.
Have you checked out the FBP Family Discounts page yet? Well, let me tell you, this page is full of great discounts and offers on products and services for our wonderful podcast partners and from suppliers from the fitness industry all across the world. To find out what's on the page, all you need to do is go to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com/discounts and you can check out what's on offer.
Precore Quickfire 5.
This week's Precore Quickfire 5 guest is consumer trends and customer experience expert Amanda Stevens. Amanda, welcome and thank you so much for joining us this week for the Precore Quickfire 5.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Do you want to start by telling everyone, why do you do what you do?
I do what I do because I get to inspire lots of people. It's my passion and I get to make a difference.
And what's one ritual that helps you become better at what you do?
I've recently gone back to meditating and journaling, so doing 3 pages of free writing each morning, and it's made a really big difference to my productivity and my ability to create.
And are there any apps or systems that you use to stay in control of your workload?
Yeah, my team and I have just implemented teamwork, so that's making a really big difference in terms of being able to get through projects and delegate a lot better, which is still my weak spot, but I'm getting better at it.
Is that an online project management system?
It is, yeah.
Cool. And what's one book, podcast, or blog that you'd recommend and why? And by the way, you are allowed to recommend your own.
Well, aside from mine, I think the book, if people just read one business book, it would have to be Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss, where he compiles all of the wisdom of all of his podcast guests and people he's interviewed into one very comprehensive guide to getting more out of business and life.
Amazing. Amanda, I have got Tools of Titans sitting about 2 centimetres in front of my nose right now. Great recommendation. Such a good book. And tell everyone, what topic are you going to be focusing on in our main interview next week?
I'm going to be talking about the power of the customer experience and what the future of consumers really means for the fitness industry.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us today for the Precore Quickfire 5.
Pleasure.
Before we finish off today, a reminder that all the resources, the links, and of course a transcript for today's show can be found at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. Thank you to our foundation partner, Active Management. They have an amazing gift for you. Their #1 selling checklist is yours for free, and it'll turn your About Us page on your website into a lead generating page. All you need to do is go to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com/active for your free download. Thank you for joining me for another week of the show. I'll see you next week, and remember, what you leave behind is not what's engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others.